Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Um, Today's video, I wanted to talk about something as I load it here into the game now. I wanted to talk to you about. So last night on Twitch, I was up late, and I just started thinking. I'm watching. I was looking for DSA content, and of course, Cozy was doing his thing. But depending on whether you like Cozy or not, it is what it is. I tend to be not so much of a fan. It's not so much that Cozy's not a great guy and he doesn't know his stuff. Um, I'm just not really a fan of his persona. Such as it is, and that's a personal preference. Some of you might not like other DSK creators, and that's fine. But one thing I wanted to talk about is I was looking for content and I started looking at Cozy's channel, and then I'm like, well, let's see what's going on with Marvel Strike Force, which is a game that I know very little about, honestly. But they were sort of watching some guys, and then I ended up watching this guy named Fort Mort, I think, and he was doing SWGOH, Galaxy of Heroes, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and that's a game that I actually know less about, but I know that um, all three of these games have, like SWGOH influenced Strike Force, and Strike Force is influencing DSA. And if you've played SWGOH, then you know that they have dark side, light side battles where you know do your dailies as a light side character, and then you do your dailies with your dark side characters. And such as it is, they have troopers and smugglers and Jedi and um, whoever else um, doing their thing in the various ways to do stuff. And then on the Sith side, you have bounty hunters, agents. You can take your Geonosian people. Um, on the light side, you can have Ewoks, and on it goes. And I was thinking, would it be possible for them to do that with this game? I'm not sure because I'm not sure that there are enough villains to be able to do that with. You know, um, if you look around now, if you went into like like if you really did a deep dive into the Ducktales, you could bring out all the Beagle Boys and Magica the Spell, and um, you might be able to do a little something with that. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that if you dig deep enough into Tailspin or Chippendale Rescue Rangers or Quackpack or Bonkers or Darkwing Duck, are there enough baddies to be able to do that sort of thing? Um, I think that potentially there are, but this is probably something that I'm realizing now that I probably should have done some research on before I recorded. I don't know at what point SWGOH came out. I'm not sure how old that is, but let's do some real-time research, and we'll get popping here. So as you can see, I'm going to do something else. I'm just going to shift to something else. I'm going to real quick. I'm going to take a deep dive in here. We don't need that screen to be doing whatever, but it is what it is. And so we'll do it here, and we'll look up Star Wars. Helps if I spell it right. And I'm sorry, I just we're doing this real time of heroes, and I'm probably not gonna spell it right because I never do. But we're gonna take a look, and we're gonna see if can we find the Wikipedia page for it. That's what I prefer. And so we can have some idea of how old the game is. Yeah. All right. So it says it released 5.5 years ago. So 5.5 years ago was when the game released. It says it released November 2015. Um, Seems about right. And obviously this was before Mandalorian. This was before the Bad Batch. This was before, probably might even be before, or maybe it was in the heyday of whatever. And I don't know why it's bringing up that in my search bar for. We're gonna look at when did Marvel Strike Force. And you can see that it's been out just over three years now. It came out in March of 2018, and obviously it's got a lot of stuff. Now, DSA hasn't been out for that long, but what one of these things did prompt me to do is like, hey, what properties could they use for this? And so this is a list of all the animated movies that Disney has put out throughout the years. And obviously you're looking at this list and you're seeing, we have, I think the earliest characters in this game we have are from Peter Pan, which would be Captain Hook and Tinkerbell. We have nobody else in there. We have nobody else. We have nobody from Snow White. We have nobody from Pinocchio. We have Sorcerer's Arena Mickey, who's like the mascot, and so he's technically Fantasia, and so technically he would be the oldest. But there's only one. Little Close to Dragon, I've never even seen that. Dumbo, everybody knows what Dumbo is. Bambi, everybody's aware of Bambi. But it's like, as you're looking down the list, as you're going through this, who could they ever use as to bring into this game? I don't think they're ever going to use Song of the South. I wish they, I personally wish I could see them. I could see the movie just so I could see the movie, but I don't even think you can buy the movie anywhere because, everything being what it's being. Ichabod, we got the Headless Horseman spell in the game, and I think Ichabod and the Headless Horseman themselves would be good. Cinderella, obviously we get the stepsisters. Would be, I think, interesting villains. Cheshire Cat, we've got, obviously the Queen of Hearts is the only person we've had in the game, and she's been in since launch. And so she's older than what I thought. The Peter Pan, of course, we talked about. And actually, if you saw the survey that they did, where they were like, "Hey, tell us what you want in this game," they introduced the duos with Pain and Panic. And so, if you remember in that survey, they also had John and Michael together as a duo. And then Wendy and Peter would be interesting. And I think they could bring in Smee and some of the other pirates so they could bolster up the roster a little bit more. But I think them and Tiger Lily would be really good. A Lady and the Tramp, I think you could use the Siamese. We are Siamese, if you please. The Siamese twins as villains potentially. Sleeping Beauty. Obviously, we've got Maleficent, who's been in the game since the beginning. You just can't open her. The 101 Dalmatians. The Cruella movie's coming out here in a little bit, depending on when you're seeing this movie. But, so there's that. We have Merle and Madame Mim from Sword in the Stone already. I think Archimedes would be hilarious. I think King Arthur would be hilarious. Mary Poppins isn't really a Disney movie. An animated movie, but there are animated characters in the movie. Jungle Book, obviously, we got Baloo and Shere Khan. But there are a number of others that they could do. The Aristocats would be very interesting, I think. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, once again, not an animated movie, but there are animated characters in the movie. Robin Hood, obviously we've got Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham, both of who are good characters. I'm not saying that they're both great. Sheriff is probably a little better than Robin Hood, but you know, if they brought Little John or Friar Tuck or Thumb, um, what's his name, Skippy, and Prince John and Sir Hiss, you know, you could do a lot of stuff with Robin Hood, I think. Um, Scrolling down, Winnie the Pooh. Not a whole lot of villains on Winnie the Pooh, just a whole lot of characters. The Rescuers, another movie I just got done watching. Mrs. Bianca and Bernard, you know, you can get a Mrs. Bianca talisman. Peach Dragon, not totally animated, but the dragon itself is animated. The Fox and the Hound, a lot of interesting things there, I think. Black culture, now we've got the Horn King. Not sure who else you could use from that movie, ultimately. The Great Mouse Detective, I'm really interested in if they brought them in. Roger Rabbit, more animated than Pete's Dragon, I think. I think Roger would be interesting. I think Jessica Rabbit would be interesting. I think the villain, Doom, right? I think he would be interesting. Oliver and Company. Little Mermaid, obviously, we've got. I think they could put Flounder and Sebastian in. That would be really interesting. DuckTales movie. The nephews, obviously, at some point, I think they have got to come in, as well as Launchpad. Maybe some of the baddies, Flintharp, Clown Gold, the Beagle Boys, like I already talked about, Magica, a lot of stuff that Rescuers Down Under. It's not as good as the original Rescuers, by the way, but still a decent movie. Just wonder, if you look at it, it's 13. There's 13 years here between the Rescuers, 1977, and the Rescuers Down Under. And also, interesting note, the reason that the Rescuers Down Under didn't do better is because it came out at the same day as a legendary Christmas movie. Some of you might have heard about it. It's called Home Alone. So, going head to head with Home Alone, probably not the best idea. Beauty and the Beast, obviously, we have everybody. Obviously, I think Gaston needs a rework. But aside from that, you know, Aladdin, I've been in the game since launch. Al, Jasmine, Genie, and Jafar. And the spell for Zazu. Nightmare Before Christmas. I think we have everybody from there. Lion King. I wish they would put in Zazu, because Iago is from Aladdin. But Zazu, I wish they would put in Zazu. I wish they would put in Timon and Pumbaa proper. Wish they would put the hyenas in proper. A lot of stuff from there. Goofy movie. If they put Max in. If they put Pam in. If they put PJ in. Interesting. Pocahontas. A lot of characters they could put in there. They could put in the raccoon and the hummingbird. The villain, obviously, I think that'd be a lot of stuff. Toy Story, I think we've got most everything from Toy Story. I'm not sure. James and the Giant Peach. Let's get Hunchback. I think I would love to see Phoebus, is that his name? I think he would be an interesting addition. And what's interesting about this movie is it came out a year before Hercules. Not a fan of Hercules. Just not. Mulan. Obviously, we got Mulan and Shan Yu have been in the game since the beginning. Do you think there's room for more? Just like the gargoyles, I think there would be more room for the gargoyles from Hunchback. Bug's Life. Hopper is the only one in. He's been in since day one. Doug movie, originally a Nickelodeon product, but I guess they could do something with him theoretically. Tarzan, kind of surprised that Tarzan's got it. Not him. He's got to be a Wild's legendary at some point, right? I think so. Jane, Clive, a lot of possibilities with Tarzan. I think Toy Story 2. Eh. Fantasia 2000, Tigger movie, more Winnie the Pooh, Dinosaur. Something to do there. Impersonate Groove. Probably the only person they could put in would be Cusco himself. Recess. This has got to come out at some point because they've been in a. I think they were in a survey earlier. Monsters Inc. Everybody Wants Mike. Sully's been in since launch. Return to Neverland. Don't know that I saw it, but love Peter Pan. Lilo and Stitch. Don't have Lilo, have Stitch, have Gantu, have Cover Bubbles. Treasure Planet. Just like Treasure Island, but Treasure Planet instead. Jungle Book 2. Piglet movie, another Winnie the Pooh, Finding Nemo. This has to come out at some point. Oceanics, all of them. Obviously, Brother Bear, Wilds, obviously. Teacher's Pet. Home on the Range. The Incredibles. Another Winnie the Pooh movie. Valiant. So probably Downtown characters if I had to guess. Chicken Little. Bambi 2. The Wilds. The Wild. Cars. Downtown, obviously. All of them. Meet the Robinsons. Probably Downtown, if I had to guess. Ratatouille. Enchanted. Wall-E, obviously they just put Wall-E and Eve in. Tinkerbell. Roadside Romeo. Don't know that I actually even heard of that. Bolt. I think there's a talisman for Bolt. Up, obviously, got to come in at some point. Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure. Christmas Carol. Not sure how that would really work out. Princess of Frog, obviously, we've got Dr. Facilier. Would love to see Tiana come in at some point. Toy Story 3. More Tinkerbell. Tangled obviously got the big three there. And we got Mother Gothel also. Romeo and Juliet, which is, I thought that was Fox, but of course they own Fox, but that would be interesting, I guess. Mars Needs Moms. Okay. Cars 2. Winnie the Pooh. Don't know that I ever saw that, but that would be interesting. Then there's Brave. Merida. Love her. And Mordu, of course. I think the brothers would be hilarious in that, by the way. More Tinkerbell. Frankenweenie. WreckIt Ralph. Really excited about WreckIt Ralph. I think they could do a. I think they could actually do a really smart raid if they used WreckIt Ralph as the big bad. You know, you could use Fix-It Felix and Calhoun, who's already in the game, and I don't know, whoever else. Monsters University, Planes. Okay, movie, not really that great. See what they're trying to do. Would be really interesting, I think. Frozen, of course. More Tinkerbell. Planes, Fire and Rescue. Big Hero 6. Strange Magic. Okay, more Tinkerbell. Inside Out. I think they're coming out with them fairly soon. Good Dinosaur. Zootopia, who the only person we have from this is Judy Hopps. I played Disney Hero um, Battle Mode when I first came out, and Nick Wilde and the sheriff guy, who I can't remember, were two of my staples on my team. Finding Dory, Moana, of course, Cars 3, Kuko, Incredibles 2, almost done. More WreckIt Ralph, Mary Poppins, Toy Story 4, live action Lion King, Frozen 2, Spies in Disguise. That would be interesting. They did that. So 20th Century Fox, which of course Disney now owns. Onward, which was the event when this game first launched. That was they were in the game since day one. The event was running. Soul, which I'm actually kind of surprised they don't have in. And then Raya, which they put in the game right away. But there's probably more to Raya. I haven't seen Raya, so not quite sure. Anyway, guys, I would love to know what you think. Who you think they could use? You know, obviously there's, like I talked about earlier, there's a series like Tailspin, Gummy Bears, DuckTales. I'm drawing blanks, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of villains, and I'm just wondering, do you think that they could set the game up to where we could potentially have light side or villains versus heroes, a type of synergy ever in this game? You know, I know they put it Ursula in and they put Pain and Panic in to make Hades better, but do you think that they could pull off, you know, where you have a squad of Beagle Boys, and the squad of Beagle Boys is really good against the Oceanics or something? Do you think that's something possible? Because that was what I was watching when I was watching this Fort Mark guide last night. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Would love to hear what you have to think. If you think, what do you think would be viable teams? Who do you think they should concentrate on first? What do you think the next legendary character is? That's also something I'm very interested in trying to figure out, because as you know, we had June or July that came up with Elsa last year, and then it was like October they came up with Big Hero 6, and then I think it was December or something they came up with Beauty and the Beast, and then February they came up with Hercules, and now here we are at the end of May, almost June, and the only characters they put out for June, which I'm surprised by so far. Now, it's not the end of June, it's not the end of May, as I'm talking to you right now. It's the 15th of May. But, so they got like another 2 weeks, but the Wall-E event is going to run for, let's go back into the game, the Wall-E event, so we can verify that the Wall-E event is going to run for another 8 days. So it's going to run till Sunday of next week. Do you think they're going to try to put some more characters in next week? Because that would be fascinating if they did. And who do you think they would be? Very, very interested to know your thoughts. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. As always, like and subscribe. Yeah. Until then, I'll see you. Have a good day. Bye.